Welcome to the sixth block of the monetization matrix. This is Paul Evans, your free online business coach, and we're going to be talking about acquiring your audience. Now, in the marketing section, we've talked about your audience, we've talked about attracting them, and now we're talking about acquiring them, but in a different way. Because here we are, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and he has a message that I believe is the core of how we ought to be doing business online. And it means that we've got to become great. And when we become great, when we become the leader of our niche or our tribe or whatever label you want to put on it, then we're able to really maximize the impact with our audience. So what does it really mean to be great? Watch this clip from Martin Luther King Jr.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace. Soul generated by love. And you can be that servant.
Anybody can be great because anybody can serve. And that's really the key. The truth is, if we're out there just trying to make a buck, just trying to make $1, we're not really serving the audience the way that we need to. And when we're saying that we're wanting to acquire them, what we're really wanting more than anything else is alignment. Because if we're out there on the highway, we're out there with everybody else. Years ago, I was in a country where we had to do some overnight travel, and we went on one of those most dangerous roads in the world. It was like one way. There was a 3,500-foot drop off, and our wheels were on the edge a lot of the time. By the time we got off the mountain, we went to sleep. When we woke up in a 16-lane highway. On the left-hand side, there were those of us in regular vehicles. On the right-hand side, there were camels. On the interstate, on the highway, everything was on the highway. And sometimes when it comes to our business, we feel like everything has to be what we do. And everyone is who we have to serve. But the truth is, we need to move from the highway to the speedway. Because only certain vehicles are on the speedway. It's very tight. Everybody's very aligned. They've got the same goal. And so when it comes to drawing your audience in and acquiring that tribe, you have to all enter that same space. You know, when I look at who I'm serving online, who am I best serving? Those who want to share their experience or their knowledge or their skill set, or they want to point someone to somebody else's skill set so that everybody ends up served. That's really the key. But we can't be everything to everybody. But within our sector, what we can do is we can actually lead. When we talked about audience, we talked about seeding. When we talked about attracting or needing, when we talked about attracting, we said seeding. And now that we're in acquiring, it's about leading. We're going to lead our people. We're pointing the direction. We're taking them down that path, hopefully to a result that everyone wants. Now, how do we do this? Well, we begin obviously with the who we're serving. Secondly, what we're doing. And then third, when and where that's going to happen. So when we're looking at all of these things, who, what, and where, we've got to be thinking about this specific audience, where we're taking them. Like right now, we've got the monetization matrix. It's 12 blocks of content that lead down a specific path for a specific result, depending on the business model that you want to follow. And even right now, as we're doing at high level, it can still be a little bit complicated because there's so many moving pieces. But even these three elements align with the first three elements that we talked about right out of the gate. Your cause. What's your reason for doing this? Your content. What are you bringing to the table to share with people? And your connection. How are you making sure that that alignment is in place? And so that's how we acquire them. Now, in future episodes, we'll get in more technical aspects, like if you're going to build an email list, if you're going to opt in, things along those lines. But don't forget what I taught in the manual list. And that is that in the beginning, don't worry about all the technology. Just collect names manually. Until you have at least 100 people that you've talked to personally, and I would say it should probably be closer to 200 or 250, but you've got 100 people on a personal list that you can click their email and talk to them personally, I wouldn't worry about any of the mechanics or any of the technology. But that's just me. All right, so let's move on to our question of the day, and this is from Patrick. And actually, I did a little screen capture for Patrick because he's got a membership site and a mastermind for Christian dads. And he is wanting to expand that. He's wanting to get more members. And so I went over to his site just to look at what his offer was and then gave some suggestions. And it's totally suggestions. It's up to him to make changes if he wants to or not. But he said that he would be happy for me to share this video with you. So check out these thoughts as I answer Patrick's question about growing his membership site and mastermind. I think about little small things. Like so one man sharpens another. I would just put one man sharpens another. Just tightens it up a little bit. And I know the passage actually says so. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. I would just say one man sharpens another. And I think one of the big keys is that these videos are fantastic. I think that's great to have. I think you got to dial it in even more with their benefits. Like this is the stuff. This is what they're getting. Here's what I'm paying for. But what's the outcome? What's really going to occur because we've joined this group? Are we going to we're going to hit the spiritual depth that we've always craved and be able to lead in our families in a way that is completely a match between our life out in the world and our life at home? Is it going to be that we end up encouraging each other in direct honesty and accountability, which that some will crave it and some will be like, hey, I don't want that at all. But I would definitely have some bullet points in here, probably 5 to 10, that are clear benefits, clear outcomes, not how you're going to get there. This is the how stuff, but just that clear benefit of how they're going to become all the things that they're not. And if you think about those top 3 to 5 things that every single man on the planet struggles with that wants to be a great follower, a great dad, a great family guy, then, I would definitely have the results tying into that. Like result number 1, become acquire or reach the spiritual depth that you've always dreamed about, because we live in a world that not only wants to keep us shallow, it wants to prevent us from connecting our world to the Word. Things along those lines, right? I would say also, and it may be on here some, but I just went to the Start Here page, but you're going to want to include it on this page as well. This picture of you, I would definitely put a picture of you with your family or with your kids, whatever, just so that, if you've got husband and father of 5, let's see a picture of that so that we see you in that element of that family, of that Iron Man. I think that's critical. And I love Iron Men. The name of it's fantastic. So that's a great brand to build on. And you've got your 5 Days to a Better Dad challenge, things along those lines. But when they get actually to this page, I would definitely have a picture of you and your family. Maybe even a little bit of the story of where you used to be, where it was challenging, where you are now, how you're able to be a husband and dad of 5, and some of the intentional steps that you're taking in your family to make sure that you're living up to the level and the calling that that you have on your life. So I think some of that could be some pieces. Anyway, that's kind of a little bit of a rambling overview. Hopefully that's helpful, but I appreciate the question. We'll probably answer that, I think, next Monday, maybe on Wednesday. It just depends on how long some of the other answers get. All right, brother, have a blessed day. All right, I hope some of that was helpful for you. Obviously, you can see how the way that we describe things, the way that we focus in on our niche makes a difference. And even those elements hopefully gave you a little bit of ideas and concepts when it came to communication, how you connect with your audience, how you acquire them into your space so that you're all united and moving toward the same goal. So let's think a little bit about our audience. Let's make sure we're attracting them correctly and that we're acquiring them to the same mission, goal, and focus that we have, because we are their leader. And leadership, it's like success. It's not an accident. Be blessed.